Dave, give us an update on Freddie and Miguel Rojas. How are they progressing?
They're progressing, Bill. Freddie took swings yesterday. I think he'll probably do more of that today. The hope would be to get them both some live pitching, probably tomorrow or Friday. I think with Miggy, I think what we're expecting is sort of how he's felt all year. That's kind of the hope. And so it's not going to be 100%, but he certainly has played well for us all year. So given this week off, I think that's kind of where we'll be with him. And with Freddie, I think each day has gotten a little bit better, and we're just trying to increase that activity each day.
With Freddie, he's a guy who's very much in the everyday rhythm. He's not used to taking time off like he's had to this year. How do you think that might affect his production, his swing offensively?
He certainly is a routine guy. I think the only thing I can kind of liken it to is when he took time off this year to be with Max, and he came back swinging the bat well. So hopefully that's kind of the same deal. But yeah, it's certainly not ideal.
If you're following the American League wildcard game right now, the Tigers went with a bullpen game in game 2. What does that say about the way the importance of starting pitching has changed over the years?
It certainly has. I think that, it's just kind of the way life in baseball is now. And I know that there's talk about trying to, get it back to starters going deeper. But I think, from, people that are in the game, as far as managers and front office and things like that, you're just trying to figure out the best way to prevent runs and get 27 outs. So there's just certainly no right or wrong way. And you have to weigh in, the options of what you have as far as starters. And so obviously those guys, that's the decision they made. And it's looks like it's working out pretty well so far.
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, you got it, Bill.
Next question is from Dave Vassegh. Go ahead, Dave.
Hey, Dave. Going back to Freddie, just curious, your thoughts on how he's going to be able to move laterally around the bag and just run the bases. Have you got any indications that it may be better than what it was a couple of days ago?
Indications are that it's a little bit better than it was a couple of days ago, but it's just hard to see a world where it's not limiting as far as on the bases, the laterals. So right now, I'm just going to remain optimistic. And then, when we get to Friday and then obviously Saturday, then we'll kind of make decisions on, how he's used as far as in the game. But I still have all confidence that he's going to be in the starting lineup.
And Dave, I know it's early in the week, but have you noticed a different mentality amongst the players in preparation for this year's playoffs than you saw a year ago or 2 years ago?
I do. I see some more hunger. I see some more edge. I like that. And not to say that guys weren't prepared or trying or cared. But there's a different level of intensity and that kind of sour taste that you have when you make an early exit from the postseason. Our guys are tired of it. And so this is another opportunity. So, yeah, Dave, I do sense that edge, which I love.
Thank you.
Next question is from Jack Harris. Go ahead, Jack.
Hey, Dave, just to follow up on that, how have you seen that these couple of days? Has there been specific things in the on-field work or just behind the scenes that's kind of where that's manifested?
Guys coming together with the watch party, sacrificing time with their families, which is obviously most important. But this time of year, there's got to be some sacrifices and bonding, which is initiated by the players, which is most powerful. Hearing about guys not caring who we play, they've got to beat us. We're the team with the best team record in baseball. You know, we have a lot to prove. We have a lot to prove. A lot of people have certainly doubted us, and so I think our guys have kind of embraced that. And I like, again, Jack, I like the edge. I like that hunter mentality from us.
One of the things your hitters have talked about the last couple of years is how well you guys in the regular season game plan and scout opposing pitchers and kind of build a plan of attack offensively. How much more difficult is that in a postseason environment where teams might be more likely to change tendencies or whatnot? And are there things that you guys have, when you look back on the last couple postseasons, you know, either seen or kind of identified as ways you can be a little more consistently as a team offensively?
I think the game planning is one part of it, but you have to be able to read and react. You have to be able to pivot. You have to be in the moment and make adjustments to what they're trying to do. But at the end of the day, it's competition. In the postseason, you see it every year. I just believe that the teams that fight hardest, compete the hardest, have the most success, and that's on all facets of the baseball.
And then with the pitching staff, how important will it be to get some length out of the rotation? Or do you guys feel like with the depth you have in the pen that there's, you know, different ways you can kind of, prevent runs and get put 27 outs together in a game?
I think it's more important. It's always helpful. It's more important in a longer series, and when you're talking about a shorter series, it happens quick. So to be able to respond and win that night's game is most important. So however that looks, if a guy's going to go 9 shutout or he's going to go 4+, it honestly, it's whatever is best for that night. You pick up the pieces and you reset for the next day. And that's sort of the message for the pitchers is get as many outs as you can.
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah.
Next question is from Fabiana Ardaya. Go ahead.
Hey, Dave, sort of on that, are you guys sort of treating Yamamoto as if he's fully built up at this point?
Yeah, I'd say so. And I don't know if he's gone much past 100 pitches this year. So I would say that's kind of where he's at. And that's all, predicated on how he's throwing the baseball. But I would say that given his rest, recovery, how he's feeling, I think the full buildup is fair.
And Brandon was just saying that he wasn't sure yet if you guys are going to go 13-13 position players or pitchers or carry an extra position player. What sort of goes into those decisions and how much that's going to depend on maybe who you guys patch up against?
It certainly depends on the matchup. Obviously, there's a few position players we got to kind of talk through, and that also is dependent on the matchup and what we might use, versus a pen, and then also with the pitching and who's available as far as relievers that we feel might match up with a potential opponent. So these are things that we're going to have some surface level conversations here shortly, and then kind of figure out where we go from there.
To your point earlier, just about reading and reacting about how post pitchers were attacking you guys in the middle of the series, do you feel like you guys were maybe slow in that aspect in years past? And why do you think that was, that you guys maybe weren't able to overcome that?
I don't know the answer. I do think that we were slow moving in the sense that, just last year, obviously it was short, but you could see we were just getting beat with the fastball. So, and we didn't make that adjustment. And so this year there's a game planning component, of course, but the bottom line is you got to be able to hit off the fastball.
All right. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah.
Next question is from Kerry Osborne. Go ahead, Kerry.
Hey, Dave, Yamamoto and Buehler both really closed out the season with strong starts. I mean, do you see them as kind of a trending up, or do you just take that as kind of one start and we'll see what happens after that?
I think certainly with Walker, it's a trending up. I think his last couple have been, more Buehler-esque. And I think with Yamamoto, I wouldn't say a trending up or whatever. I think it's just more of getting him back into flow of pitching. And, Yoshinobu has been really good for us all year long. So kind of to get him back to pitching on a regular basis has been paramount. And he's also pitched really well.
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah.
Next question is from Megan Garcia. Go ahead, Megan.
Hey, Dave. What do you expect to see from Flaherty in his role with the starting rotation in the postseason?
I think with Jack, it's more of there's going to be poise, there's going to be, compete. I think it's just go out there and give us everything he has. I'm not going to put a ceiling or a floor on innings or outs. Just going to go out there and let him pitch and compete, and we'll see where it takes us. But for him, obviously, every time he takes the baseball, he's going to take the bulk of the innings and look for him to perform well.
Second question, what differences have you seen from Andy Paquez since he returned to the team in September?
Andy's, I think maturity. I think that, before we sent him out, I thought he was starting to get out of himself and press a little bit more. I think the game has slowed down, and, even coming off the bench and not starting every day, I think that's been a good thing for him as far as how to prepare when you're not in the starting lineup. And he continues to take, obviously, really good at bats versus left-handed pitching. And even the righties, he's been hanging in there.
Thank you, Dave.
Yep.
We've got time for a couple more. Go ahead, DG.
Hey, Dave. We saw Mookie and Freddie really struggle last year at the plate in the playoffs. How do you feel like with Shohei this year, he can really ease whatever pressure they may feel going into the postseason? And did you sort of see that play out in September when you were playing all these sort of must-win games?
Yeah, I think so. Shohei has certainly carried the brunt of the offense. I think it's kind of how you look at it. If you're Freddie or Mookie or the rest of the lineup, to feel that there's a pressure taken off because you have Shohei at the top, or really impact the game, the lineup, given their individual talents. And I'm more partial to the latter. I think that, being a support or alleviating some pressure, but I still expect Mookie and Freddie to be the guys that they are and have shown in past postseasons. So, if we can get those guys and the rest of the lineup doing what they're capable of, I just don't think we can be beat.
Retrospect, when you look at Mookie last October, do you feel like he was maybe physically worn down and could, as much as you missed him for those 2 months, is he a little more fresher going into this postseason?
I don't know. I think that's always a default. I just think that he was just missing fastballs last year, to be quite honest. And I don't think that a 3-game sample with the 5 days off, you could kind of attribute to being fatigued, because, we had that same conversation with Will Smith and he ended up having a really nice postseason. So I don't know about that.
Thanks.
Yep.
Last one's from Jack. Go ahead, Jack.
Sorry, I didn't mean to have my hand up. I'm doing.
Last one's from Eric. Go ahead, Eric.
Dave, a little more on the lineup. How would you compare the depth of this lineup this year, say the last few years?
It's hard to beat. I think it was 21. But I would say this lineup is probably the best we've had. Given everyone's healthy, and we obviously got to see Freddie coming back and Miggy coming back. But I think when everyone's right, I think we're very good versus left, versus right. There's an on base, there's a slug component, there's a bat to ball component. So I think that, it's very well balanced and probably our best.
And then I guess adding Edmund to that mix, what has he brought the last 6 weeks or whatever it's been?
I think he's just brought the consistency of a quality at bat. I know recently, there's been some struggles left-handed, really been real consistent versus left-handed pitching. But I just think that Tommy, he's going to be prepared. He doesn't run from big moments. I just see big hits coming from him. And then his ability to kind of solidify the defense in the middle of the diamond. Obviously with Miggy going down and then being able to bounce out to center field. So that's just been a huge add for us.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.